Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle something, well, something pretty wild. It's a radical model of the cosmos based on the work of Nishant Gautam, and it's called the doctrine of absolute nothingness. All right, so let's just jump right in with, well, maybe the biggest question anyone can ask. Where does all of this come from? The very origin of existence itself. When you think about it, most origin stories, whether we're talking ancient myths or even modern physics, they always start with something, right? There's always some kind of primordial chaos or a divine word or a quantum field just bubbling away, some kind of raw ingredient to get things started. Yeah, this one's different. This model throws all of that out and starts from the most extreme place you can possibly imagine: the total, absolute absence of everything. Okay, so let's be super clear about what we mean by nothingness here, because this is so important. We're not talking about the nothing of physics, the quantum vacuum. That place is actually pretty busy, teeming with energy and potential. No, this model is talking about absolute nothingness, a true, genuine void. No space, no time, not even the idea of potential. So, the emergence of reality. This is the big question, right? How in the world do you get something from a true, absolute nothing? Well, the model proposes that from this total absence, the very first principle of reality just appears. And get this, it's completely uncaused. And that right there is the first rule, the first axiom of this whole system. Brahman emerges totally uncaused. Now, it's really crucial to understand this isn't something happening in time. It's not like, poof, it appears one day. This is a foundational, metaphysical event. It's the very thing that creates time in the first place.
So this first principle, this ground of all being, is called Brahman, and it's defined as the single, non-dual ground of all reality. It's not a god, not in the way we usually think of one. Think of it more as the formless, all-powerful, and timeless essence of everything. And understanding its three main attributes is pretty much the key to this whole thing.
Okay, first up, nirakara. This means it is utterly formless. No shape, no boundaries, not made of parts. You can't point to it or locate it in space because it's the very potential for space to exist. Next, it's Shaktimana, which means infinitely omnipotent. Now, this isn't power like some deity throwing lightning bolts around. It's more fundamental. Brahman simply is the power. It's the pure, raw, unconstrained potential for every single possibility, for every universe that could ever emerge.
And finally, there's Anakala, absolutely timeless. Brahman exists completely outside of any kind of sequence, of past, present, and future. Why? Because its very emergence is the event that kicks off time itself. There's literally no before Brahman.
Okay, so we have this formless, timeless, all-powerful reality. How does that become a universe? This brings us to the next step, Brahman's first act, which is all about self-expansion. This act has a name, Srishti. And it's not a one-and-done creation event, like the Big Bang might sound. Srishti is this ongoing, continuous process. You could call it a self-expansion or an eventing. It's just the natural, built-in expression of Brahman's infinite power.
So what comes out of Srishti? Well, the big stuff. The very fabric of reality, space-time, is born. And along with it, the potential for just countless local universes, and here's the cool part, each one can get its own unique set of physical laws and constants.
So each of these universes, ours included, then embarks on this grand cyclical journey. You can think of it like a cosmic three-act play.
This life cycle has three main stages. It all starts with Srishti, right? The emergence of the universe. That's Act 1. Then comes Sthiti, which is this long period of evolution, where stars and galaxies form, complexity grows, and maybe, just maybe, life shows up. And finally, Act 3 is Pralaya, the dissolution, where the whole universe collapses back into that formless Brahman.
But here's the kicker. This end? It's not really an end. Pralaya isn't about annihilation or destruction. It's more like a reintegration, a return to the source. And as soon as it happens, it sets the stage for a brand new beginning, a new Srishti. The cycle just continues.
All right, so now let's zoom out. We've seen one universe's life cycle, but now we're going to look at the whole, truly mind-bending picture. We're moving from a single cosmic play to an infinite cosmic dance.
Because we're not just talking about our universe anymore. This model describes what's called an asynchronous multi-universe. Imagine countless local universes, all coexisting as these patterns within Brahman. Each one has its own special laws,
its own dimensions, its own timeline. And they're asynchronous. There's no master clock syncing them all up. They are all connected at the source, but they can't just bump into each other. The best way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Think of each universe as a single wave on a vast ocean. Each wave is distinct, right? It has a start, a peak, and it crashes. But for its entire existence, it is never, not for 1 second, separate from the ocean itself. And that ocean, that's Brahman. So what this all leads to is, well, it's the idea that ultimately, from the highest possible perspective, all of reality, every galaxy, every planet, every one of us, is just one single seamless non-dual event. One unified reality that's just in constant dynamic motion.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to chew on. If all of reality is one infinite, seamless event, this unbroken ocean of existence, then where do you, as an individual wave, actually begin and end?